This time we've got a nice little wave shooter, made by Subdream Studios and available on the store for £10.99 or $15. How does this wave shooter stack up against others I've played? Is it worth the money? So, Mega Overload is not an early access game, thank God, which means that the good grace of the devs aside, it's where it's supposed to be, with nothing extra to come aside from possible patching. It takes the idea of Space Invaders and finds a way to put a nice VR spin on it. In the background, I'm playing my best run, which got me top 10 on the leaderboards. It took me about an hour and a half to get to this stage. I'm by no means great at these games. Your goal, as the devs describe it, is to join the front lines on the Crystal Asteroid, to defend the Milky Way from the endless onslaught of the Megabots. You'll collect various power-ups, i.e. extra lives, and different weapons, as you progress. You can trade your lives for weapons in between waves, or get weapons from UFOs that will fly out at set times on certain waves. Be careful which gun you shoot the UFO with, because you run the risk of replacing a weapon you've spent a life on. You can also get an additional life every 25,000 points or something like that. You have a bunch of different colours that you can choose for your robot before you head out for battle, each of which have their own personality and facial expressions, and there is a co-op mode, so this isn't totally wasted. However, I didn't play the co-op mode as I couldn't find a match, though I will say that the devs did offer to play with me, which was very kind. I just didn't think it was necessary. So the game is very simple. You go through wave after wave, which are identical from run to run. Enemies have two phases in a sense, as when they're attempting to move to their space on the back of the screen, they don't tend to attack you, and then once they're set up, they'll attack you at random, sometimes waiting until everything else is out there too. So basically a key part of doing well is killing the enemies, especially the harder ones, before they get a chance to get to their positions and end up as a massive wall that will attack you at random. There will be the odd pop shot that they'll take at you, and you'll quite quickly discover that these are very predictable and often scripted. Such as, for example, you'll always get shot from the same low angle here if the offending baddie hasn't died, and this red guy will always fly at you earlier than anticipated. Each enemy has its own unique trait. The red orbs are really shit, and they'll generally clutter the back wall and only fire off when everything else is set up. You've got these triangle guys who will float out, take a shot and retreat. These orange dudes who are slightly more aggressive but similar. You've got these pink things that explode, and if you're gunning them straight down, you might not be using them effectively. You've got enemies that you'll hit once to make angry and then shortly after to kill. They get some invulnerability, meaning you can't just whack them down. And you get shielded enemies that you need to catch in the back. Some of them you can take down by making them spin with one hit and then hitting their weak point with another. Looking at the achievements, apparently the enemies have names like Electro Bombers and Psycho Blasters. All of the enemies' attacks are generally well telegraphed, making it quite engaging and exciting as you'll be reacting on the fly to the different enemies, sometimes distracting you from the aforementioned scripted bits that should never really hit you. When a shot is fired at you, it will always look the same, and it will make a sound. So if you keep your ears on alert, you'll know when and where a shot is fired, and it's your responsibility to dodge it. You have a physical body, which is pretty cool. It's not like Blasters of the Universe, where your eyes are the hitbox. It moves pretty well alongside you, but obviously with no tracking on your midsection, don't expect to be able to contort your real life body to dodge a bullet like in a cartoon. Speed and accuracy really isn't everything in this game. You've got no iron sights, and dual-wielding shooting different directions is not an easy and accurate affair, especially considering the lead time on all of the weapons. Really, what it comes down to is prioritizing your targets more than anything else, and learning from your mistakes. I'd say that tactics and a game plan go a long way here. I definitely noticed more of an improvement when I found my preferred strategy of getting the rapid fire gun early and not spending any other lives. Getting hit in this game really sucks. First you lose all your weapons, you obviously lose a life, and there's a 5-second period where you can't do anything, which is way too long if it's supposed to be there to help you, especially considering that the enemies will continue to set up. This can end up boning you, as for one, the enemies are more aggressive when they're set up, and additionally you can get situations like this, which felt a bit unfair. The 4 different weapons include a basic single shot, a rapid fire, which rocks, big shot, which is okay, but after rapid fire I didn't go back and they cost the same, and spread shot, which is really good at causing collateral damage, but not the easiest thing to aim, and you won't get that much practice with it, because it's costly, and it doesn't come from a UFO until quite late on. It is really powerful though, and good fun. It feels good to use the guns. They all seemed identical aside from bullet size, colour, and the red one being spready. My criticism of the weapons would be that the shape of the guns kinda shaft precise aiming. This was obviously a stylistic choice, but you'd think that futuristic fighting robots, or whatever you are, could design their guns better. The visuals and sounds are all really polished. It doesn't feel like an indie game, which is good news considering the asking price, but there's also just not a lot there. I did really like the fact that the waves were consistent, as it made the sense of progress way more obvious. There's no combo system or anything, so really your score is what wave you got to and how far into that wave you got. So it's really easy to compare to other people. It was well suited to this game. I prefer something like in Blasters of the Universe because it adds more depth, but there's just more in general in that game. Overall, I'd say it's a bit on the expensive side. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but it costs the same as Blasters of the Universe and has considerably less depth and less to do. That said, the gameplay is really good and it was released in a good state. Maybe 6 to 8 quid would have been a bit more appropriate given the content. I got a few hours out of it. Realistically, I prefer things like Blasters and The Last Hope. If Blasters looks too intense, but you want some retro-inspired wave shooting, this might be one for you. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other reviews, give me a like, subscribe, and if you're extra fancy, then throw me a comment. Let me know what you think, and I hope to see you next time.